On June 4th, 2026, I went to King's Dominion for the first time, and it was amazing. The park blew me away with its rides and atmosphere, and I even met a very well known roller coaster YouTuber, but I'll back to that later. It all started with a road trip to Washington, D.C., a three-day road trip. Anyways, that trip was very cool, and I'm very glad I went on it. So, June 4th was the day we would leave our campsite in Maryland, and earlier I brought to my parents that I wanted to go to King's Dominion, and after some discussion, the plan went through, and at 12 p.m. we left our campsite in Maryland for the 3-hour drive to KD. So, after the long drive through the endless Virginia forest, we finally made it to Doswell and arrived at King's Dominion at 3 p.m., and we actually got into the park at 3:20. And the first ride we went to was Pantherian. Stupid name, by the way. Like, Pantherian, that's got to be the name of some autistic girl on CapCut. It has to be. And but the Six Flags app said that it was temporarily closed, but it reopened literally right as we got to the entrance, so that was great. And the line was so short that I was able to stay in my seat and ride it twice in the second to last car. And wow, this ride is exactly how I was told it would be. The first turn is stupidly intense, and I grayed out on my first ride. And snaps are very intense and aggressive, and the sense of speed you feel is amazing. I really don't mind their strengths that much. I heard a lot of people say that the Intimate and Soft strap was bad, but I didn't think so. The straps didn't even touch my shoulders, and it was freeing enough to get some airtime on the first drop and first hill. So overall, Pantherian is a great coaster with a dumb name, and I have it ranked number 3 of 41. So after that, I went to go on Rapterra, but it was temporarily closed, so to pass the time, I went on Tumbili, and oh boy, I do not like this one. I don't hate SNS Friesman's. I actually think that Batman at Fiesta Texas is really fun, but Tumbili is not. First of all, I wanted to ride alone because it gives a crazier ride, but there was a school group, so I had to ride with someone, and it barely flipped at all. I only got 3 real flips and a pretty long stall. I also learned why you should always staple yourself on these rides. I won't go into detail, but if you're a guy, then please make sure that vest is as tight as it can be. So after I got off Tumbili, Rapterra immediately opened, so I caught it while the line was short, and I sat on row 4 left wing inner seat. And okay, I have very strong opinions about this. Rapterra is not rough. I cannot believe how many people have said it's rough or it has a rattle, but don't listen to them. Rapterra is perfectly smooth and has a surprisingly powerful launch and a dynamic layout with intense positives and decent hang time. Oh, and did I mention this park has a freaking plane? The AV geek in me was very impressed. So after the jungle expedition area, I went over to Twisted Timbers. And let me address something very strange. Twisted Timbers has an insanely strict loose article policy. You'd think you're in Japan. You cannot bring anything onto the ride. They don't even trust zipper pockets or straps. And there are metal detectors in the queue. Anyways, Twisted Timbers was actually my first experience with the traditional RMC trains, and I didn't hate them, nor did I love them. The shin guards weren't a problem at all, like I heard, but it's very heavy and will tighten during the ride, so take that. And I got a somewhat hot take. Twisted Timbers is almost too much. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't like it. The triple camelback was pure bliss, but the trick track double up and final hills before the final brake run are so aggressively violent that it really might be too much for some people. I love Twisted Timbers, but it is a lot to take, and is my new number 1 after 5 years. After Timbers, we were kind of confused on what to do, so we went to Racer 75 because it had a short line. And that was a grave mistake. If anyone from King's Dominion is watching, please invest in some wood for your historical monument, because it is not in good condition. Not even riding in the front car can save me from a beating. The first drop isn't bad. It has no airtime, but it doesn't suck. But the rest of the ride sucks. The hills are forestless and have no airtime, and the valleys are god-awful rough. The only smooth part is the left turnaround. I was on the north side, by the way. But the returning trip is by far the worst part. Every valley brutally jackhammers up and down. The worst ones are the last 2 valleys. It feels like the train will fall apart. And I'm glad only one side was open so that I wouldn't have to get the other credit. If you like Racer 75, you're either really old or you hate yourself. 2 out of 10. Okay, that was a little negative. Let's be happier next time. So after that, I got on Delirium, and I really liked it. I actually prefer it over the Zamperla Discoveries. Something about it, not being so freakishly tall, and the restraints are bulkier. The disc also spins slower, and the pendulum swings more gracefully, so it's just more of my kind of ride. And I did not expect it to swing at such a steep angle, but I liked it. Okay, that's the last time I'll talk about a flat ride. I rode one Seeker, but no one cares. So then we walked to Backlot Stunt Coaster while being chewed out by a mom because she was in a bad mood. Anyways, Backlot Stunt Coaster is very underrated. It looks hilariously small next to Pantherian, but it's one of the more intense coasters in the park. The launch Well, the launch is pretty forgettable, but the following triple helix is almost as intense as I-305's first turn. I'm not even joking. It's so tight, and you take it at full speed after the second spiral, it stops being intense, but that doesn't mean it's over. You zip past some police cars and into a high-banked turn, then you hit an airtime hill that doesn't do anything, then you come to a complete stop for a few seconds, then be launched into a dark tunnel, where you will then emerge from the ride sign, go under a tunnel, and I just say tunnel? It's a bridge. And into the brake run. This ride isn't that intense aside from the first spiral, but it's very smooth. Well themed, just a fun experience. So if it's open, I highly recommend it. And this launch is just music to my ears. After riding Backlot Stunt Coaster, the Jungle Expedition area was a complete ghost town, and it was eerily quiet. I guess everyone leaves the park 2 hours before closing. Anyways, we decided to go to the iconic Eiffel Tower replica, and this thing is massive. I can't imagine how big the real one must be. But yeah, the Eiffel Tower is an observation tower that gives a spectacular view of the park. Oh, and did I mention how freaking hot the elevator is? My god, it is stupidly hot in there, and I have no idea why. Speaking of hot, the next ride we did was the Shenandoah Lumber Co., which is a log flume, and a very nice one of that. It takes you through the dense Virginia forest, and you feel so isolated from the rest of the park. You really feel like a log floating through the middle of nowhere. And then you hit the drop, which has probably gotten me the wettest of any log flume. But luckily the shorts I was wearing were meant to dry fast, so that's a win. After that, there wasn't really anything else to ride except for the one coaster I forgot, Grizzly. Yeah, I kind of forgot Grizzly existed, but its line was short, and my mom had enough wooden coasters for the day. So I rode it by myself, right in the middle, and I was bracing for it to be a rough, boring, and unpleasant. But not at all. The track feels like a modern Gravity Group or GCI, and the layout, although short, has two surprising airtime moments. The hill after the first turnaround and the hill inside the tunnel. Those moments are borderline ejector, and the PTC trains are also very nice. They're kind of small, but the lap bar sits rather high above your lap, so there's room for airtime. Alright, now for the part you've been waiting for. When I got off Grizzly, I met Sarah from Coaster Studios with her boyfriend, and we were on the same train together, and she's actually very nice in person. She shook my hand, asked where I was from, and thanked me for saying hi. So yeah, Sarah, if you're watching this, it's me. Please respond to my comments. Well, after that, we got the announcement that the park would be closing soon, so we headed back to the entrance, but not before getting one last ride on Dominator, the world's longest and only floorless coaster to be relocated. And this coaster is just so average. It's not at all bad, it's very smooth and has one good airtime moment, but other than that, it's so mid. This layout puts me to sleep. These elements are no different from the dozens of other B&M loopers, and it's just not that intense. The only moments of intensity I felt was the pull out of the first drop and the helix before the brake run. And yeah, that ends my day at King's Dominion. If you couldn't tell, I was very impressed with this park. It was my first Cedar Fair park, and I already can't wait for my next one. This park has amazing theming, amazing rides, and amazing staff. The only gripe I have is that the operations at this park are horrendous. Every dispatch, no matter the ride, took longer than 2 minutes, but even after that, I'm still giving this park a 9.5 out of 10. I really can't recommend this park enough. You have to see it for yourself. Anyways, thank you for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments. Bye.